Hello, gamers. Hello. Happy Tuesday. I almost said Monday. I almost said Monday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hope you're having a good week so far. Hope you had a good weekend. Let me go ahead and switch over to game screen. There I am. And there's the game. Yes, hello. We are back with some more... Oh, wait. Alt tab into here. So I'm controlling the game. Cool. Alright. We are back with some more Shibuya Scramble. Yes. I'm gonna be completely honest. I am suffering from like a minor bout of insomnia. So playing this game while being super sleep deprived is gonna be very, very interesting. But I also really enjoyed the story last time. I didn't also piece this together last time, but for example, I think Tama? I don't know, somebody, Minorikawa. Somebody had to keep out. And then I used another person's timeline to jump from that. Right. It was Achi. So, Minorikawa had to keep out, and I used Achi's, timeline to jump from him to his. And then that broke the keep out. So I didn't understand that at the time, but I think I understand how keep outs work now. Like it literally is just play through somebody else's story. Play through somebody else's story and you will see something that will unlock it. But yeah, with all that being in mind, with all that being said, last time we completed most of the stories actually. Tama continuing to be peak comedy hours. Minorikawa continuing to I don't know right, I guess. Good for him, honestly. And Kano has a bad end. Oops. And Achi's has already been done. So we're really only at Osawa and Kano. I think at this point, we're all set to continue on from here and not get the same bad end is what I want to say, but we'll see about that. We will actually see about that. I might have to go back to Achi's story, maybe, and I don't know, do something to get the keep out to kind of unlock from here. So, anyway, let's just go ahead and hop into it, and hopefully I can figure out what I need to do. And we'll complete this time block today. Talking with Sasayama. Sure. The text. Okay. Can I? Why can I not go here? Well, I guess it's not important. I guess it's not important. I just want to make sure, like, when I'm skipping over things, that, like, oh, disobeying direct order is highlighted. I'm not accidentally skipping over something where I would need that to jump to somebody else's timeline or something. So, I suppose that would work too. Ahaha, bahaha, ahaha. Alright, cool. Well, nothing changed over here. That's what I'm learning. Alright, let's get out of here. And I think it's in somebody's story. My best guess right now is going to be Achi's. And if it's not, then I'll probably have to hop around and see who could possibly be the missing link here to get to Osawa. All right. Let me go ahead and I can't remember when it happens. Not here. Where does it happen? Back at Dogenzaka. Jump, father. Jump to father. Okay, well, it happens here. That's nice. At least they give you the highlighted jumps, so you don't have to actually start a story and read through it just to see, just to see what might be happening. Oh, right. It's a little bit of drop frames. I will, I can tell you right now, 100%, that is, 100% internet thing. The internet has been kind of screwy all week, and I assume that's because of all the winter stuff that's been happening and all the snowstorms and stuff like that. So apologies about that, but I still want to go live, and as long as it's not super egregious, I will continue forward. Anyway. Hitomi began typing out a response. Achi was watching over. Blah, blah, blah. There was no way a mild-mannered young lady like her could be dating one of her father's co-workers, was there? Was there? Jump! Alright, there we go. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. It was an email from Hitomi. Stifling an exclamation, he scanned the contents of the message. There's a man following me. He has a gun, and I think he's trying to kill me. I'm safe for the moment, so try not to worry, Lamayo, even though I just told you all this. The kidnapper warned me not to contact my family or the police. Please keep this email a secret. Oh, and then Tanaka proceeded to not keep it a secret. But didn't Hitomi give the kidnapper the ransom? Osawa said. What could anyone want with her now? Tanaka shook his head, uncertain. He wouldn't know any better than I would, I suppose. Do the police know about this? And if so, why haven't they said anything? He felt himself starting to tremble as he searched for answers in Tanaka's silent gaze. Look at how neatly that's folded. Amazing. Do you think this could be related to that other thing? I doubt it. If it were, why would they got after Hitomi? I suppose you're right, but... Osawa was shaking outright now. Tanaka laid a hand on his shoulder. First, just calm down, and let's think about what we know about the kidnapper. His composure helped Osawa keep himself under control. Amazing framing of a shot. How do they even do this? You like put a camera inside of a cup, and then put the two actors standing over. What is this? Amazing framing, but also what? They've taken Maria, the vice director continued quietly, along with a ransom of 50 million yen. And now they're after Hitomi. His gaze sharpened. Sir, do you think this could be someone who holds a personal grudge against you? A grudge? Osawa considered. He couldn't think of anyone who would have a reason to attack him. He'd been too caught up in virus research since his time in school to have formed any hostile rivalries. He didn't have any enemies that he knew of. Maybe someone's jealous that I became the head of a laboratory, he suggested doubtfully. He had held his position for years at this point. Why would that spur someone into kidnapping his daughter now? Has anything happened recently? Tanaka asked. Anything strange since you got back from overseas? Since I got back? Osawa's heart skipped a beat, then started pumping faster. Did we not show Tanaka the emails in this timeline? I don't remember what we did. I thought we did. The first thing that came to mind was the solicitation he'd gotten from the American laboratory. Oh, okay. If he accepted the offer, it would put Okoshi Pharmaceutical in quite a bind. Possibly enough to warrant someone holding a grudge over it. But the only other person who knew about that potential transfer right now was his wife, Ai. Uh-oh. No, Osawa said. Nothing. Not that I can think of. He couldn't bring himself to discuss the transfer with Tanaka. He felt a surge of guilt contemplating leaving his trusted assistant behind. If he did make the move to America, he planned to recommend Tanaka to replace him as department director. Still, he didn't expect that to make up for his abandonment. All right, I'll see what information I can find then, Tanaka said. The kidnapper had forbidden any contact with either family or the police. But Tanaka was outside of that circle, so technical loophole, Lamayo got him. Hitomi's like, man, I'm so smart. But Tanaka was outside of that circle, and he knew how to handle himself with discretion. I'm sorry to have to put this on you, Osawa said. And thank you. For now, let's see if we can get Hitomi to exchange some more emails. An uncomfortable thought suddenly occurred to Osawa. He blurted it out without thinking. Why do you have my daughter's contact information on your phone? Ye true! Tanaka gave him a worried look. Sir, I promise I can explain once this is all over. And with that, he stepped out of the bathroom. Alright, cool. Back to plunging. Let's freaking go. Something in the tone of his final words left Osawa to wonder. Could it be that Tanaka and Hitomi were dating? And he would be okay with that? He hoped dearly for that to not be the case. I think Hitomi is... I mean, we're all over 18 here. I just assumed Tanaka was, like, way older. Their age difference alone made the idea a disturbing one, let alone so many other considerations. Mamoru Tanaka is 40 years old. Hitomi is 19. This makes him just over twice her age. This does not necessarily mean, however, that they could not date or fall for each other. Many couples with such age differences between them wind up in a happy, committed relationship. Of course. Begs the question, though, why have you hid this from me? Anyway. Trying to put aside his paranoia, Osawa resumed his struggle with the clog in the toilets. What does clog in the toilet mean? Most toilet clogs are caused by a buildup of flushable paper products or by solid objects inadvertently dropping into a toilet bowl. But shockingly enough, on the very rare occasion, they can be caused by someone taking a dump that happens to be that big that it gets stuck in the pipe. Apologies to anyone who might be eating right now. Yeah, it's usually it is paper. It is paper stuff. Oh goodness, I don't know who's talking right now. Oh, it's you. Oh goodness. Kajiwara reappeared, still touting the bucket. You seem to be having a lot of trouble there, sir. He made it sound like the whole mess was Osawa's fault. Of course I am. I've never had to do this before. Again, I still don't believe you. Really, I think the research you would do would be a lot more difficult than this. Fixing toilets gives me far more trouble, I'd say. So it would seem. Kajiwara stood watching, as if Osawa's efforts made it an interesting show. I don't know the first thing about viruses, sir. But I don't find unclogging toilets to be that difficult. True. Oh yeah? Osawa snapped. Then how about you fix the damn thing? Kajiwara really was a world-class pro at pissing people off. Are you sure you don't mind? The detective asked. I don't mind. This is your mess. Fix it. Be my goddamn guess. Osawa shoved the plunger into Kajiwara's hands. Leaving the detective to handle the toilet, Osawa marched back to his study. This is the freaking the title screen theme. When you boot up the game, you hear this actually, and it's way quieter than any of the other tracks in the game. Hey, he turned on the TV, the CD player even. He turned on the CD player and lay back on the sofa, squeezing his eyes shut. He was seriously on edge. Kajiwara had totally broken his stride. What now? The door to the study slid slowly open. It's Detective Kajiwara, sir. Please don't come in here without asking. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. This is the extended version, I guess. It's a rock song. Cool. Good to know. Good to know. My apologies, Mr. Osawa. I just wanted to inform you that the toilet has been fixed. Right, fine. Osawa hardly cared. He just wanted this guy to give him a little piece. Ugh. Oh. Okay, I see. So it leads into, the one track of the game. Just the one singular track of the game, that has vocals. I see. Oh my, is that really all you have to say, sir? Nary a compliment or encouraging word. Maybe a good job, Kajiwara, or a you're getting a promotion, detective. Osawa blew out his breath in exasperation. Hello, Black Blue, hello. How are you? How are you doing on this fine Tuesday? How are you a detective? I'm not sure I get your meaning, sir. You are completely clueless. I'd like to ask your supervisors to replace you with a detective who knows how to take his job seriously. And this will lead to a jump to, frickin' Kano or something. I don't know. I don't know what Kano needs. I'm snowed in. Same. So we're experiencing the exact same thing. Yeah. It is super duper cold. But otherwise, I hope you are doing well, though. Mr. Osawa, with all due respect, it's unusual for a precinct detective like me to be stationed here at the victim's home. What's your point? Not to brag, sir, but I happen to be an exceptional detective. Kajiwara beamed with pride. In fact, I made an excellent showing in the Superstar Detective contest we had at our police station social media service. An online platform whose primary feature is allowing people to connect with the police-exclusive social media network that Kajiwara belongs to, Poxy, is strictly regulated, with any abusive language, slander, sexual comment, or lame jokes deleted almost immediately. Amazing. For a moment, Osawa thought the bolt of incredulous anger that shot through him was the onset of a stroke. How could a single person be so utterly infuriating? I almost wonder. There is a possibility that Osawa is just like this, and that's fine. But I almost wonder if Osawa is like hiding some sort of something. I don't know. He seems majorly sus to me. And you can't tell anyone about this, Kajiwara went on obliviously. But this summer, a new detective manga is starting up based on me. Detective manga, planned for serialization in MPD's monthly PR magazine. The chapter titles have already been decided. Chapter 1, The Fabled Detective Kaji. Chapter 2, Kaji Howls at the Sun. Chapter 3, Kaji Rides the Rails. Chapter 4, Kaji at Daybreak. Trails at Daybreak, even. Detective Kajak. I have no clue what any of these are references to. Space Detective Kaji. I would read that. That sounds cool. Osawa spat out a peal, even, of feigned laughter. A manga. I can tell you all about the plot, sir. Would you like to hear about it? I would not. It's about telecommuting detective who solves major crimes using his wits and his computer. Surely you'd like to hear about that, sir. I really wouldn't. I know I may not look it, but I'm pretty handy with computers. Kajiwara's eyes drifted over to Osawa's desktop. Yeah, exactly. Huh? His hand darted to the mouse. In a matter of moments, he cleared the screensaver and booted up a web browser. Hey! Osawa barked. Don't touch that. But he was too late to stop the detective. Listen, alright? I'm an Idol fan. Get over it. The monitor showed the page of Aya.net, a fan page devoted to Aya Kamiki. Osawa's imminent rage stroke was beginning to make his vision grow fuzzy. You come to this site regularly, sir. Regularly? Well, I'm not sure I'd... Osawa trailed off, feeling the heat of a blush flare on his cheeks. There's a lot of stuff on this site. Is there a section you primarily spend time on? Well, I mean, for my part, I really only go to the fan forums for folks 40 and over. Aha! With a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, Kajiwara peered at the computer screen. Having his privacy invaded to this degree was the ultimate disgrace. True. All right, Hosawa huffed. You're an amazing detective, Kajiwara. Just incredible. I see you in a new light now. Now would you please... Interesting choices. Get the hell out of my room. Please leave me alone. My thing is that, like, will Osawa ever leave the house? Will he ever go anywhere that isn't here? If I do B, there's a slight possibility of that. Or I can just get a bad end. Let's see. Now would you please leave me alone? He got up to leave the study. Sir, hold on. There's something I want to give you. Kajiwara reached into his pocket. I don't need a damn banana. Osawa fled the room. He needed to be alone, if only for a few moments. But even if he could somehow shake Kajiwara, the other detective still had eyes all over his house. He had reached the limits of his patience. He couldn't even think straight anymore. He headed for the back door, trying to avoid the police. Opening the door quietly, he slipped across the yard and out through the back fence. Freedom. Outside. It's real. I don't believe it. He didn't want to venture too far from the house. He found a tiny alley and took cover there, thankful for a few moments to himself at last. While there, he caught sight of a man and a young girl, a father and his daughter, running past on the main road. It looked as if they were running from something. Uh-oh. The man glanced anxiously back over his shoulder, dragging his daughter by the hand. Osawa watched absently as the pair rounded a corner and disappeared from sight. Oh. Alrighty then. Not long after, a pair of thuggish-looking men came running along, heading in the same direction. You there, one of them called out. You see a guy and his daughter around here? I can also jump to Minorikawa's story right now, but wait a minute. Teruo Toyama and his daughter Hana, they've come to Shoto while running from loan sharks. Just moments ago, Toyama was talking on the phone with Minorikawa. Interesting. So the keep outs that you can get are like they're it's not set. Like different people can have different keep outs, I think, because at this point, yeah, Minorikawa's story is done. We don't need to jump back here, I assume. Right, there's nothing to jump back to for this one. Interesting. Okay. You there, one of them called out. You see a guy and his daughter around here? They should have come by this way. There was a hint of menace in his voice. Osawa feigned ignorance. Don't think so, no. Come on, Yutaro, let's go, said the older man. Alright, replied the other. The two dashed off in the direction the father and daughter had gone. Osawa took several long, deep breaths. He managed to calm down. He managed to calm down slightly, but the worry gnawing away inside of him still lingered. Interesting. How does that work if I'm supposed to somehow go back and change that? I don't know. I might be wrong about that. I might have to jump to Minorikawa. I don't know. Something Kano. I'll figure it out. Osawa groaned inwardly when he got back to his study. You're still here. Yes, sir. I was told to keep my eyes on you, after all. Believe me, it shows. Mr. Osawa, if you're going to go outside, I'd appreciate it if you let me know first. What? Had Kajiwara realized he'd snuck out of the house? But more importantly, Kajiwara reached into his suit pocket. What is that? I've been meaning to give this to you. I wonder what that helicopter was for. Me too, honestly. Me too. I had no clue what that was about. I guess it's just around. It's the same helicopter that flies around, and maybe you can hear it in everyone's story at some point. He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort. What's that? Osawa asked. This is what was clogging the toilet, sir. Oh. Okay, thank you. With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag. Why are you giving this to me? Huh? That's... The passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa. In the plastic bag was a plane ticket. Specifically, the one for his upcoming flight to the US the following week. Oh, right. So, the wife. The wife is looking super evil right now. He left it out on his desk. How had it wound up getting flushed down the toilet? This looks pretty important, sir, Kajiwara said. I must say, it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it. A wry sort of smile came to his face. Although, the detective added, I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely. Osawa was at a loss for words. Man, can't something good happen to Osawa? You're just kinda... This whole route just kinda sucks. It's just like, man, I'm just having the worst day ever. Come on. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose. He was sure of it. Who would have thought that clogged toilet was plot relevant? I know. I thought that maybe it would act as a distraction, and maybe, I don't know, Kajiwara would go ahead and do something and be like, waha, look at me, I'm so evil. But no, I guess it was just I who flushed something down the toilet. He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. Isn't she out right now? It didn't look like she had gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in. Not that there's anything wrong with a married couple sleeping in two separate rooms, but I think it does tell you a little bit something about their specific relationship. In this instance, it does say something about their specific relationship, that she has her own room. They're also rich as heck, so I guess they don't have to sleep in the same room necessarily. So, the stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated all in white. Clothes were strewn all about as if to put her slovenliness on display. Amazing. She'd been like this ever since they gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. It had been I who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him to go to America, but still, couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? True. Don't you have, like, I don't know, shredders? Thanks to her, he'd been stuck hunched over the damn toilet, fighting with the plunger. Osawa sat down on the bed amidst the brand name clothing. Then he spotted something odd down by his feet. It was a gold cigarette lighter. Just when had I picked up smoking? Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to the bed. I wouldn't touch anything if I were you. He started out of the room, but stopped himself as he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. The rest of the shelf was filled with fashion magazines, so the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. Curious, he took it down and opened it. The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as his new vice director. Aw. There's a photo of Osawa shaking Tanaka's hand at the party celebrating his new position. It was a little peculiar to think that she had bothered to keep something so trivial. A series of magazine articles was nestled between the pages further into the book. I have no clue what's happening right now, but I I just like Osawa's route. I like the way that it's written and the mystery and intrigue surrounding it. These hadn't been clipped out for inclusion in the scrapbook itself. Osawa glanced through them. Floundering Okoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage of political convenience. It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag called 4-Star General Gossip, from right after he and I had gotten married. When the piece had first run, he had been too furious to read it. Now that he'd given a quick looking over, it was pretty much exactly what he'd expected. It talked about how one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on the board. I'm trying to look for like any Minoru Minorikawa. I don't know, any kanji that could be like Minoru Minorikawa. I don't see any. I think it's just general 4-star stuff. Anyone could have written it, basically. Sacrificed. Allowing someone else to come to harm for one's own personal gain. Gain, even. In this case, the term is used figuratively, not literally. Referring, of course, to Makino offering Osawa Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound of marital strife between the newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how Ai had been dating another man before she and Osawa had gotten married. Oh. The whole thing was a bunch of puerile rubbish. Oh, not true? Any marriage involved some sort of calculated self-interest after all. I suppose, but not to this scale? I don't know about that one, Osawa. Whatever the reasons for their union, nothing changed the fact that I was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf. Feeling disconsolate. Someone is eating their thesaurus, I guess. Feeling disconsolate, he returned to his study and began flipping through his CD rack. His eyes scanned for Aya Kamiki's album, For Tomorrow, Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given how discombobulated he felt right now, this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there'd been a time when he didn't care about music at all. He'd simply purchased copies of the most popular CD of the moment as a birthday presents for his two girls. And that just happened to be an album by Aya Kamiki. Hitomi was thrilled by the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed terribly fond of it. Interesting. I always find it interesting whenever we learn anything about Maria. Anything about Maria. Huh. So right now we know at least she used to be the happy one. At some point she became kind of the reserved one, and then Hitomi became the happy one. She also has an interest in like worldly affairs and stuff like that, and traveling. So, The next day, she tossed her copy back on her father's desk. Wow, okay. Figuring that throwing it away would be a waste, Osawa had stuck the CD into his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded by an intense beat bolstered by bold, uplifting vocals. Aya Kamiki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to just one track, he was well and truly hooked. Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Okay. He's a super fan. Huh? He muttered. For Tomorrow should have been in the CD rack, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? For a moment, he wondered if he was going crazy, and then he remembered. It was at the lab. Oh, okay. Does this mean Osawa has the heart of a teenage girl? Kind of implying that, honestly. It was just like, Yeah, it perfectly speaks to the teenage girl experience, and it's just like, but what would you know about that? I don't know. Maybe as a father, you can look at his daughters and is like, yes, the troubles of youth or something. I don't know. He'd wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he'd brought the album there. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Not being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. It wasn't like he could go out now and buy another copy. It wasn't just like he could go out and buy another copy right now either. He'd just have to borrow the copy he'd given to Hitomi all those years ago. Unable to contain his need to hear the music, he went to Hitomi's room. There, he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt like he was being a little sneak thief. I mean, maybe a little bit, maybe a tad. This is why digital media is superior. You always have access to it. That is true. That is true. Although, I guess if you read like terms of service sometimes, sometimes they're like, you bought the thing, but you don't actually own the thing, so we can take away the thing when we want to, when we don't have access to the thing. So, what's changed? What's changed, really? According to the email, Tanaka had shown him someone was trying to kill Hitomi. Yeah, Hitomi's on her own little adventure right now. Under the circumstances, he knew what he was doing was ridiculous, and yet he still couldn't resist the impulse to find this CD. But his efforts were to no avail. There were no Aya Kamiki CDs in the rack at all. Huh. Why would that be the case? Is that important? Is that plot relevant? Osawa pulled out every CD on the rack, but they were all classical music. Bleh. He slumped back in disappointment. It had to be somewhere here in her room. Osawa jumped at the sound of his cell and fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen. Oh, hey, Makino. I'm out front. That was all Makino said before hanging up. Alrighty then. Kind of intimidating, but sure. Hurriedly, Osawa began tidying up the CD rack. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. To think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends. It sullied his research. Osawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. Surely, I don't know, maybe now I'm starting to think it's I, but I don't know. And yet, as he was about to leave Hitomi's room, a sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Makino for running trials in secret? Makino, yeah, okay, just to be 100% certain, Makino is Ai's father, right? I believe so. His hand began to sweat as it gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty in all this, too. Yeah, I think that's what the article said. Okay, just making sure. We need to keep this a secret, just between us. It'll be fine. We've already cleared animal testing. The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered the antiviral to someone, hadn't he? You did what? You, huh? It was the only way. Don't. Wait a minute. Oh, no. I was like, I have a very distinct feeling we're at the end of this time block. Uh-oh. Okay. Muttering to no one in particular, Osawa trudged toward the front door of his house. To be continued. Dang it. Alrighty then, cool. Cool. That had nothing to do with Kano's story. Shit. Alright, well, I guess, I don't know. I still think I'm gonna get this bad end. I think the bad end will disappear. When yeah, the bad end disappears when I've, like, erased it from existence, so to speak. So with that being said, I don't know. I guess we'll just kind of jump around, see who has jumps, and I don't know, just go through with them. And eventually something will pop up. Because I think we've already made the correct choice with Minorikawa, is my thinking. No, not this one. A weird sound. We didn't check that out. Advice for Toyama. Did the bad end not give a hint on how to clear it? It did. It said somebody told them to wait there, I think. You should probably go ahead and change that. And I did, and I don't think it helped. Or maybe it was just me skipping through it. That might be it. If I go here, back to the precinct. Kano was taken off the case because he lost track of the suspect thanks to a random altercation nearby, and his conclusion was correct. If that... Yeah, a certain someone needs to give those two some better advice, and a certain... Oh, somebody else? And a certain other somebody needs to meet up with them outside his or her house. Both of these are key in changing poor Kano's fate. Well, that happened, technically. So... Alrighty then. This time for sure. This time for sure. Everything should be good. Maybe. Alright. I guess we just skip through... Try and play dumb with us, buddy. Wait up. We lost him. Alright. So that means that I need to go back to my original choice, which was A. Or whatever. Whatever I said to them. Not this one. Advice for Toyama. Look, we'll get through this somehow. Just keep your head down. I have no clue what I even said, honestly. I think I was on B. Stay where you are. Yes. Alright, that choice should have saved now. So this bad end shouldn't happen, is what I'm thinking. Alright. Uh-oh. Well, that didn't work. That definitely didn't work. Huh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me check again. A certain someone needs to give those two some better advice. Needs to meet up with them outside his or her house. The better advice is not from Tama. No. Tama does bump into them, but it's not... That's not what this is. Right. Okay. It shouldn't have anything to say here. And then... If that's the case, I think maybe I'm gonna change this back to B. And then we'll see if we can't change something in Osawa's story instead. What about the house bit? We did. It showed up. Osawa, showed up. Right? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, he's not. Wait. Oh. Osawa's entire existence got wiped from everything. Okay, I'll try and play through this and we'll see if there's something different here. Osawa never interacted with them, he only saw them. I guess that's true. If that's the case, then the hint needs to be better worded. Because the hint is like, yeah, you did the right thing. It's like, no, you didn't do the right thing. But since this is so different, I will head over to it. It seems Minorikawa's choice changed his line. Yeah. Exactly. Osawa fled the room. He needs to be alone only for a few moments. I doubt... Yeah, I cannot skip through this. If it's new content, then it's new content, but... Technically speaking, it's not new content. So... The outside, it's real. He didn't want to venture too far. Oh, okay. So they'll hide instead. Really? Really? Alright. That seems... The hint is always the same. It doesn't update based on your choices. Yeah, I know. But the hint is just like... It's poorly... It's kind of poorly phrased. Because you can only get to this point if you change Minorikawa's answer and then... But then it should kind of account for the fact that there are two different branching paths here that are kind of very similar. So clarification would be needed on that front. As he looked around, wild-eyed, he spotted Osawa watching him from the alleyway. "Help," the man called out. "Help me, please. If these guys catch me, Oh." The father's eyes went wide when he got a look at Osawa's face. You're... Huh? Osawa thought he'd recognized this fugitive too, though he couldn't remember from where. Maybe the person that wrote the article. "There's some real nasty guys after us," the man said. "I know I have no right to ask you this, but please, at least help me keep my daughter safe." "Probably you should go to the police if the police are busy." "No! They won't be able to help me with this. Please, I'm begging you. Help me." I'm sorry, but... "Please, if not me, then at least help my daughter," the man pleaded. Osawa looked down at the girl. She looks so freaking bored. She is so bored. Just like, ah, man, what are we doing? Unlike her father, she was calm and reserved. She reminded him of Maria just a little. Aw. Oh, there's an extra choice here. Interesting. It's interesting that led to a to be continued then. Okay. So I'm gonna have to watch out for that. Sometimes you can make seemingly wrong choices and still get a to be continued. It's like, yeah, everything's fine. And the game just lies to you. No, it's not. No, it's not. Alright, cool. These people needed professional help. Osawa decided to call the police. He decided to help them evade their pursuers. Osawa couldn't just stand idly by. He decided to help them evade their pursuers. "Alright, follow me." "Oh, thank you. Thank you so much." What is... I love the framing of the shots. Whoever is the cameraman, the photographer on this one is just like having a blast. It's just like, yeah, let's just make them goofy. He led the two back to his house and led them into the storage shed out back. "You can lay low in here for a while if you like," he said. The shed was fairly large. There was plenty of space for a man and his daughter. That you just keep there while the police are in your house? Sure. I'm so sorry, the man said. I'm not sure how I can possibly thank you. Don't worry. Osawa closed the shed door and headed back to take a look around. Alright, now we're back over here. But I still can't skip. The game's like, no, you still cannot skip this. So I'm guessing... which way'd they go? That way? Sweet. We almost got him. The pair sped away. Yeah, it's implying that the thugs would have catched them in the other timeline, even though it didn't seem like that. They were hurrying along, so... Osawa waited until they were fully out of sight, then called out to the shed. Alright, they're gone. The door stayed closed, however. I'm really sorry, the man called back from inside. Those guys might come back this way. Is it okay if we just hide out in here a little while longer? Alright, sure. I mean, I'm not doing anything better. Sure. That's the reason for the jump. From Osawa to Minorikawa? I guess, yeah. Yeah, okay. I guess if you ever get stuck and you see a jump and you're like, that jump is kind of pointless, it seems. Maybe you can just try it just to make sure. He sounded desperate. Pitiful, really. Sure, go ahead, Osawa said. With that, he headed back inside. Evidently, he just wasn't going to get any time alone today, no matter where he went. Alright, nice autosave. I should be able to skip through all of this now. Not that I need to. It should have saved at this point. Yeah. Okay. Everything is saved. Everything is saved as is. Alright. I feel like I understand a little bit more about the game mechanics at this point, at the very least. So that's good. That's good. Bad end should have... Yes, it disappeared. Cool. This time for sure. This time for real this time. The two detectives took up position on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. You ready? He asked. Just give the word. There were only two non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. And sure enough... Hey, there you go. The second man approached the one holding the attaché case. This guy has a very recognizable face. After exchanging a scant handful of words, he took the case and walked off. Sasayama? I'll handle the guy with the case. Got it. Sasayama broke into a run, chasing after the man who'd taken the ransom. Kano hung up his phone and rushed close to close the distance with the other man. You there! Stop where you are! The suspect turned, and Kano recognized his face. He was indeed a member of the foreign crime syndicate that operated in Shibuya. Oh, okay. Is the hostage safe? Kano demanded. The man's only response was an unsettling grin. Answer me! But though he repeated the question, the man remained silent. Kano has choices. Oh boy. Took out a pair of handcuffs and reached for the suspect's wrist. Took out his phone to check in with Sasayama. Check in with Sasayama? Kano took out his phone to check in with Sasayama. I've got the suspect in custody, he said. How's your end? Sasayama hesitated. He got away from me. Alright, cool. Cool, Sasayama, thanks. What about the attaché case? I'm sorry, but he's still gotta be around here somewhere. I'm gonna look for him some more. Sasayama hung up, and Kano slipped his phone back into his pocket. As he did, the man pulled a knife from his breast pocket and swung it right at Kano's face. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, there's like quick time events in the game. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Kano managed to jerk away in time, but his momentum carried him too far backward, and he sprawled out onto the pavement. Damn. The suspect was already making a run for it. Suddenly, a large car of foreign make skidded to a halt, blocking off the man's escape route. A tall Caucasian man jumped out. He wore sunglasses and a crisp suit. Now cornered, the fleeing suspect brandished his knife. Be careful! But Kano didn't even have time to finish shouting his warning. There was a metallic whing, and the knife went flying through the air. The man in sunglasses had snapped his right foot up, sending the weapon flying. As the attacker's jaw dropped in astonishment, the newcomer proceeded to elbow him right in the face. What is happening right now? The blow connected and the suspect went down hard. Ow. The fallen man turned his head to look over at Kano. His mouth moved as if attempting to say something. He never got it out. The man with sunglasses kicked him in the face. I would love it if this was, freaking whoever. What's his name? Kano's hero. With a groan, the perp slumped down, unconscious. Hey! Kano snapped. What the hell are you doing? He stormed over to the man with the sunglasses. Oh, no. We don't know who you are. But I think I've actually seen this person on the cover, the, like, box cover of the game. I think this person is, like, way in the back, if I remember correctly. The man nonchalantly dusted off his suit. You were ordered to watch and see where these guys went, right? He spoke in fluent Japanese. What is fluent Japanese? Imagine that you are a Japanese person who has never been in a situation where you suddenly had to speak to a foreigner. You haven't used English in ages. Your tension grows. You think back to English class in school, but you remember nothing that is helpful. You muster up courage to choke out a stammered, do you... And the foreigner responds fluently in your own language. Nihongo de daijoubu desu. It's alright, I speak Japanese. Amazing. What happened to that Japanese sense of honor I'd heard so much about? Oh, it's him talking. What happened to that Japanese sense of honor I've heard so much about? Who are you? I'm from the U.S. Embassy's Regional Security Office. What the hell is happening? What are you talking about? An embassy where the ambassadors from a foreign country lounge and conduct much of their own official, and conduct much of their own diplomatic business. Under international law, ambassadors are guaranteed diplomatic immunity, and the embassy grounds are considered territory of the home nation. The U.S. Embassy's Regional Security Office is responsible for the security of American diplomatic facilities and personnel, and provides American citizens in Japan with information on public order. It is located in Akasaka in Minato Ward of the Tokyo Metropolis. Well, today I learned. He presented Kano with his ID. Jack Stanley. Amazing. Amazing name. Jack Stanley. His title was listed as Security Assistance Officer. Kano glanced at the car he'd shown up in. The license plate was blue with white lettering. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But the ministry wouldn't just send some diplomat to intervene in a police investigation. What's your name, detective? Stanley asked. Kano from the Shibuya precinct. Alright, Kano. I'm going to need you to follow my instructions for the next while. Why's that? Instead of answering, Stanley took out his cell phone and made a quick call. After a few moments, he held his phone out for Kano. Here, permission from your boss, he said. What? Kano squawked. He took the phone gingerly, bracing himself. Kano speaking. Hi, Kuze. It was Kuze and he was furious. Understandably so, really. But this time, I'm not gonna get fired, so who cares? Kano had disobeyed a direct order, and for what? All he'd accomplished was losing track of the attaché case. I'm sorry, sir. You really think a sorry is gonna cut it? You're the first Kano. Oh. Oops. Oopsie daisy. Kano slumped, defeated. He had no reply. He knew he got whatever punishment. He knew he deserved whatever punishment he got. Still, orders from up top didn't trump the hostage's safety. If he could have gone back and done it all again, he's sure he'd make the same call. Alright, cool. I'm on the right track? Possibly? Maybe that meant he wasn't detective material, but so be it. That's what I want to tell you, Tuesday continued. But for now, I need you to follow the instructions of the guy first, and do whatever he tells you. Sir? I can't understand you. Kano hadn't seen that one coming. He disobeyed orders. That was undeniable. And I'm also off the force. That's also undeniable. And yes, he knew he deserved a reprimand. But being ordered to tag along with some stranger who just turned up out of the blue, what the heck? May I ask why the US Embassy is involved with this? Question, Kano! Step in line! Please, just hold on. Sir, I have no idea what's going on here. Kuze let out an exasperated sigh. Exasperated sigh. There we go. Yeah, words. That makes two of us, kid! And then he hung up. Alright, cool. And with that, the director hung up. It sounded like even Kuze didn't have the whole story here. He's just kind of going with the flow. Which meant that orders were coming from someplace higher. A foreign syndicate moving the ransom around the US Embassy. Whatever was going on, it was a lot more than just a local kidnapping case, and Kano was deep in the middle of it. Interesting. Well then maybe it's possibly not. I thought I maybe set up the kidnapping or something. I don't know. Possibly. He handed the phone back to Stanley. A few moments later, two detectives from the MPD arrived on the scene. Stanley handed over the fallen criminal to them. You're chasing a bum lead, you know. Stanley said as he watched them carry the man away. What do you mean? Kano asked. I mean, this kidnapping isn't about the money. My priority is the girl's safety. Right now, your priority is doing what I tell you to do. Kano gave him a scowl, but Stanley ignored it. That guy we just arrested, he asked. He tell you anything? He tell you anything? That was me talking. I'm Stanley. I'm Jack Stanley. No, nothing, Kano said. Really now? All trace of emotion drained from Stanley's eyes. His gaze pierced Kano like icy daggers. It held a glimmer of something dangerous, something Kano had seen plenty of times since he joined the force. He wasn't looking into the eyes of some diplomatic liaison. There we go. No. This was a man who knew how to kill, who'd killed people before. Oh, okay. Well, alrighty then. With some effort, Kano managed to regather his sense of professionalism. He didn't tell me anything, he repeated. I just know that he's a member of some foreign crime syndicate that works out of Shibuya. I probably know some of their hangouts. Show me, Stanley said, cool as an automaton. We'll take my car. Kano wiped away some of the sweat that had beaded on his brow as they headed for the vehicle. He was just sliding into the passenger seat when Kuze radioed over the wireless. The childish tone was back in his voice, full force. It's been here all this time. What are you talking about? Kano stiffened on reflex. He knew what that meant. He told me Yasawa has, gone missing. And you guys just realized that? She's been gone for a while. What? Kano couldn't believe his ears. Wasn't Tatano supposed to be protecting her right now? Who's Tatano? Who's that? Also, Detective Tatano hasn't radioed in. And, like, we can't reach him from our end, either. Interesting. No way. Kano blurted out. It can't be. So, yeah. Because they continued. He might have gotten caught up in this incident, too. That'd be kind of awkward. It wasn't like a detective of Tatano's stature to go incommunicado during an investigation. It could only mean that something had happened to him. Something major. Oh, and there is the to be continued. Interesting. I really like that time block. That was pretty good overall. I think all of the stories there got like a lot more interesting. Is it time for the trailer? All right, cool. Next trailer. I would do anything, whatever it took. That was sarcasm, wasn't it? Time's up. I'll pay you double what they're worth. Any evidence has been covered up. All right, 1 to 2. Nice. Who can you trust? Clear the 12 o'clock time block. Yay! All right, cool. Well, with that out of the way, I think we can start with literally anyone's story. We've played through some of Kano's story today. We've played through some of Osawa's story today. So that leaves Minorikawa or Achi or Tama. So I will see who I feel like whose story I feel like hopping into. But right now it is just about time for a break. So I will go ahead and take that. Let me go ahead and set down my controller. There we go. And go to burp screen. Burp. If you are here, you know the absolute usual. Go ahead, stretch, get some water, do all that good stuff. I'll be right back in like 5 minutes, and we're gonna hop into a new person's story. So, yeah, see you then. Alright, I am back. I am back. Let me go ahead, switch over to game screen. I thought I would use the break to think about whose story to hop into, and I absolutely didn't. Oh shit. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, well, cool. I don't deserve to be forgiven for what I've done. Alright, Osama. Cool. Thank you for the welcome back. We may have both done the same thing, but my motives are complex. My motives, those were different. And so, I don't regret what I did. Best to go with your instincts. That's... I was clicking off of OBS just to make sure that I wouldn't that the controller would work. I wouldn't accidentally mess up settings there. And then I just went into this. So, you know what? I'll just follow the flow. And yet, if someone were to ask if there was some small part of me that wanted to see the results of my research, I could not deny it. Osawa grabbed his shoes from the entryway and then headed for the back door. He didn't want the detectives in his living room to know he was going to meet with Makino. That pest, Kajiwara, was nowhere in sight. Now was his chance to slip away. I mean, Kajiwara knows everything. Speaking of, mwahaha, gotcha. Hey, bud. Speak of the devil. Kajiwara had snuck up behind him. Are you going out? The detective asked. No, I was just... Osawa felt something inside his shoe. Glancing down, he saw a rubber duck stuffed inside it. Is this your doing? I laid a booby trap, or rather, a ducky trap. Amazing, thank you. Originally a lethal trap used during wartime to catch clumsy and unwary soldiers, boobies. In modern parlance, however, the term frequently signifies a harmless prank, such as setting a blackboard eraser atop a classroom door so that it falls on the head of whoever opens the door. Man, that would suck. that would ruin my day. Kajiwara beamed with self-satisfaction. You know, you act like a grade schooler, Osawa said. Indeed, sir. I am a grown man with a youthful heart. Leave it to Kajiwara to yet again miss the point entirely. With a sigh, Osawa tossed the duck at him. Kajiwara caught it nimbly in one hand, then stuffed it right into his pocket. I won't tell you that you aren't allowed to leave, sir. All I ask is that you tell me where you've been, and where you plan on going. My work is highly confidential. I'm not at liberty to discuss just anything about... Please, just try to work with me on this, sir, Kajiwara interrupted. Alright, maybe... I don't know, maybe... I was thinking maybe he's kind of sus. I take it back. I think he's just goofy. He leaned in uncomfortably close. Do you recall what I said before? About how I'd appreciate it if you didn't keep secrets from me? Osawa hesitated, inwardly debating how much he should share. He decided to tell the truth. Okay, I'll tell you the truth, just leave me in peace. He needs to keep this a secret. It doesn't concern you. I'm just gonna go buy some cigarettes. He lied. Kajiwara is the best. Yeah, I'm getting that vibe from him. I don't think it's good to lie. I think it would be good to say... You know what? Just tell you the truth. What's the worst that can happen? He decided to tell the truth. Alright, I'll tell you. Just leave me in peace. One of my colleagues is waiting for me outside. Who is it? I'm sorry, that's all I can say. Could you tell me a bit about what you'll be discussing? Are Toyama and his daughter still in the shed out back? Okay. Alright. Kajiwara leaned in even closer. His eyes twinkled with suspicion. I can't share corporate secrets, detective. Like how you don't tell me anything about the state of your investigation. It goes both ways. It might have been childish reasoning, but it worked on Kajiwara. All right, the detective said. In that case, I just have one condition. Please, take this with you. A huge walkie-talkie? He produced something that looked like a small transceiver from inside his coat pocket. What's this? It's a bug tracker, sir. It'll beep in response to a nearby listening device. Oh, I'm just going to meet someone from work. I don't need this. He pushed Kajiwara's hand aside, and the bug tracker fell to the floor. Mr. Osawa, you mustn't underestimate the lengths to which these kidnappers might go. True. For once, the detective's face was all seriousness. All right, fine. Osawa snatched up the device and headed out the door. Makino's car was parked out front. A driver stood alongside it. Osawa exchanged a wordless greeting with him, then got into the back. He found Makino reclining in one of the luxurious leather seats. Damn, now this is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now then, Makino said. I don't think I have a voice, any sort of distinct voice for this person. Now then, Makino said, what did you want to ask me about? Lighting a cigar, he glanced alongside at Osawa. He glanced sidelong, even, at Osawa. I was hoping you could explain the situation to me, sir. Which situation would that be? So, he was still going to beat around the bush, even now. Osawa suppressed an urge to shout at him. Are you the one who let the antiviral out of the lab, sir? Yes, that was me. Makino didn't bat an eyelid. So why had he been so coy a few moments earlier? Maybe to make sure you weren't recording, maybe? But how? The fingerprint authentication system is almost unbreakable. Getting access to the storage area would... He trailed off as a thought suddenly occurred to him. It was not strictly true that fingerprint authentication was the only means of entry. Also, he's like the president of the company, so surely he could just order Tanaka to be like, hey, help me out here. Osawa and Tanaka had both set up passwords as a failsafe in case an injured fingertip somehow prevented them from operating the scanner properly. But these passwords were 10-character alphanumeric strings. No one could just haphazardly fumble their way in. Oh. Could Makino have sent a request to the electronic locks manufacturer and asked them to unlock it then? No, that required the approval of 6 board members. And Osawa was one of those 6 people. There really seemed to be no way of getting in without leaving any trace. You're absolutely right, of course, Makino said with a grin, as if reading his thought. I couldn't gain access to the lab without you and Tanaka, but I didn't have to. He exhaled a large plume of smoke. You remember when we released the samples for animal testing? No, it couldn't be. Osawa broke out in a sweat. But it could, Makino said. I had them divert some of the samples intended for animal testing. Naturally, that didn't leave any record of anything being taken from the lab. Osawa bit his lip hard. He couldn't help but feel betrayed by his company. Yeah, no kidding. But why? Makino let out a nasal one-note chuckle. I guess I'll do this voice then. I don't know. I don't have any voice for him. You don't seem to grasp just how valuable this thing really is. What do you mean by that, sir? Makino lowered his voice. There's a major world power out there that has already weaponized the UA virus. Oh my gosh. Alright, cool. The story has everything. It really does feel like, like some elements of like 13 Sentinels of it all, where it's just like, I'm playing a romance game, I'm playing a beat 'em up, I'm playing this, I'm playing that, like, just throw everything into the pot. And I love stories like this. For a moment, Osawa thought this was just a sick joke, but the look on Makino's face told him otherwise. I've been informed that it was recently used on a military installation in the Middle East. Oh, that's me. Within 12 hours of dispersal, there were at least 800 casualties. If you include civilians, the number jumps to over 2,000. Any evidence of the disease agent and the bomb that delivered it has, of course, been covered up. Osawa listened in amazement, his outrage that any government would commit such an atrocity not quite suppressing his excitement at discovering that the virus could be propagated by explosive means. Amazing, Osawa. Cool thoughts to have. He felt a flush of guilt at his own fascination. The antiviral you created, Osawa, has the potential to render this weapon useless. Each route feels totally different from the others, yeah, especially Osawa and Tama. Yeah, if you're comparing, like, Osawa to Tama, completely different vibes. What does Tama have to do with any of this? is what it really feels like whenever you're playing through Osawa's story. But then you go to Tama's story, and it's like, man, Osawa doesn't interact with anyone. So, I totally get that. Also, hello, unwise guy. I hope you have been well. Right now, Okoshi Pharmaceutical possesses the sole means to combat UA. Makino's lips curled up into a boastful grin. Any number of countries would love to get their hands on it. The major power in question has offered an unprecedented sum. And that's hardly a surprise. Having a monopoly on the antiviral makes the weapon itself that much more valuable. To Osawa, this was a glimpse into another terrifying world, one that he had barely imagined previously. And so you wanted to get human testing over with as soon as possible. Is that it? He spat. Makino shrugged. I explained full well to the locals what the risks of experimentation were, and they were paid in accordance with said risk. They willingly consented to infection with the UR virus. They died, didn't they? They seemingly died, at the very least. Sophistry. Osawa huffed. Nothing more. Hey, glad to be catching part of the stream. Glad to have you around. I appreciate it. Nothing more. You used money to deceive a bunch of poor farmers. Come on, Osawa. Oh, it's this voice. Come on, Osawa. He's being disingenuous. Alright, cool. I'm just gonna skip over that one. Makino eyed him with contempt and let out another puff of smoke. I know you, Osawa, and I know you're not really concerned about a bunch of bunch of hick farmers. All you care about is your research. Kind of true. The thing that's really nagging you right now is that someone went ahead and did the final clinicals without you. Spare me the ridicule, sir. I mean, he's not... It's manipulation on his end. Like, that's not entirely true, but... It's true that you seem to have a fascination with your research. As a virologist, I have a moral duty to... To what? Makino barked. Go to the media with this? Do you have any idea how much money the company has thrown at your lab to keep it up and running? How much money? Osawa's lab has incurred expenses of roughly 30 billion yen in developing the antiviral medication. Okoshi Pharmaceuticals spends approximately 200 billion yen per year on research and development. Osawa's work is the single most costly element of that budget. Osawa gaped. I do appreciate all the company has done for me, sir. He spoke so quietly that his voice was nearly inaudible. In any event, Makino said, now that you know about the human testing, I can't let you go to America. How did you know about that? He insisted that I keep his planned relocation a secret, but apparently she told her father regardless. I mean, that's not surprising in the slightest at this point. If you insist on making the move anyway, I'll use any means necessary to stop you. Makino regarded Osawa with a bloodshot gaze. Any means necessary. Osawa swallowed the lump in his throat. Sir, you don't mean that my daughter's kidnapping was... Don't be ridiculous, Makino said before Osawa could finish. Of course that wasn't me. I'm not 100% convinced about that. Nevertheless, I'll do what I must to keep you in line. Remember that. Understood, sir. I'll turn down the U.S. job offer. Osawa heard his own voice like the thin drone of a tiny insect. He felt utterly powerless. I can't simply take your word on that, Makino said. Do it now. I want to hear you do it myself. Dang, well, this sucks. He jutted his jaw toward the phone in the backseat console. All right. Couldn't this wait a little bit, sir? I mean, it's giving me the option. I mean, can't this wait a little bit, maybe? Couldn't this wait just a little bit, sir? Osawa asked. Maybe he could still find a way out. You already know what my decision is, Makino said. His tone carried an edge of intimidation. Osawa didn't reply. He simply stared at the telephone. He felt like an insect who'd had all its legs plucked off. Ugh. You need to think about your wife, too. Makino's words were barely above a murmur. Realizing that his boss was speaking as Ai's father, he couldn't bring himself to resist further. Okay. He reached out for the phone. It would be around 10 p.m. local time for the American firm. No one's going to pick up their phone at that time. No one's picking up their phone at 10 p.m. unless you're like a close friend. He decided to call his contact's personal phone. Oh, okay. You just have that. The headhunter was shocked to hear that Osawa wanted to decline the position. When he pressed for the reasons behind the decision, Osawa hung up. Oh my gosh. That scared me. That scared me. That's the first time we've heard the raid alert, I think, ever on stream. Hello, Juicy. Thank you for the raid. Hello, how was your stream? What were you playing? Visibly relieved, Makino lit up the fresh cigar. Yeah, welcome raiders. Hello. Sir, there's one thing I don't understand. And what's that? Osawa's head was feeling fuzzy. You have an amazing voice. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Juicy. I hope your stream went well, whatever you were playing. We are just here. I guess I should introduce myself. Hi, I'm Courie Cosmos. I deliver packages throughout the universe, and I play video games as well. I mostly play video games. I mostly procrastinate and play video games. That's what I like to do. Right now, I am playing 428 Shibuya Scramble, which is a mystery visual novel game from Spike Chunsoft, which is the same publisher team behind Danganronpa and Zeroscape and all the classic mystery visual novels, if you're familiar with them. So it did. I beat a baddie in Elden Ring. Hey, cool. Nice. Congrats. Thank you. The smoke inside the vehicle had gotten extremely thick. Also, DJH Devon, thank you for the follow. Thank you. If someone has this top secret information, why wouldn't they threaten the company as a whole? No, this is the wrong person. If someone has this top secret information, why wouldn't they threaten the company as a whole? Why send those emails to me personally? I'm not sure. There's an internal investigation already underway. We'll find the source of the leak soon enough. At this point, though, Osawa wasn't sure knowing who originally leaked the info mattered much at all to him. Well, enjoy your stay here. Thank you so much. DJ or Devon, whichever is easier. Okay, Devon then. Devon. If you'll beg my pardon then, sir, Osawa said. He put his hand on the door handle. Suddenly, a high-pitched chirp sounded from his pocket. The bug tracker Kajiwara had given him had picked up a signal. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is that your cell? Makino asked. Yes. That's mine. He hurriedly hopped out of the car and reached into his pocket. Is everything alright? Is everything alright? Who's talking right now? Oh. Is everything alright, sir? Hey, it's me. The driver was still waiting outside the car. He leaned toward Osawa, looking concerned. Was it you? Oh, was it you? Osawa stepped close to the driver. Huh? Did you send me those emails? What? What are you talking about, sir? Don't play dumb with me, Osawa said. You're the only person who could have planted a listening device on the company car. Listening device? The driver raised an eyebrow in confusion. This is gonna be really awkward when in like 5 minutes this character is gonna be like super relevant. What are you after? Sir, what are you talking about? Who told you to do it? Tell me. Your voices are excellent. Thank you. I try. I try, even though like 4 of the 5 main characters are guys. So, oh boy, not a lot of variety here. The driver fled back into the car. Osawa clutched the bug tracker hard as he watched the vehicle pull away. All right, suspicious vibes there. He went back to his house. Oh, hi. Hello, wife. Hello, hope you have been doing well. Still gripped by confusion to find I waiting in the entryway. She must have gotten home while he was out. You were with my father, weren't you? She sneered at Osawa as he slipped off his shoes. Yes, I was, he replied. And it's over. What's over? She knows damn well what. He struggled to contain his irritation. America, I'm not going, he huffed. Oh, really? Well, that is good news. She sounded sincerely pleased. Yay! Yay! Maybe a little more pleased than Osawa cared for. I need to go finish up some work things, he mumbled. He hurried to his study up on the 2nd floor. Yay, depression arc. Woohoo, we're back where we started. He threw himself down in front of his computer. There hadn't been any progress on the investigation as usual. Just how long was all this going to go on for? Were all kidnapping cases this drawn out? A specialized victim support team belonging to the Special Criminal Investigation Unit had been deployed at Osawa's house. The members of this team are all specialists who have received training in such skills as negotiation, high-speed motorcycle and automobile driving, running phone traces, special communications, and phone record acquisition. But this is 428 specific, so it's all fiction. Osawa was growing more and more uneasy. He could barely contain himself at this point. Wasn't there anything that he could do? Uh-oh, trouble in paradise. Yeah, Osawa's story is, the everything sucks story. Everything just kind of sucks. He glanced over at his monitor. That's an idea. He could look up kidnapping investigations on the internet. That might give him some insight into the current situation. Kidnapping, police investigation, hostages. He typed the 3 keywords into the search field. This would just give you anxiety, I feel like. The engine pulled up over 100,000 hits. He scans at the beginning of the list for anything that might be useful. One of the site links caught his eye. How the police do it. It looked like a page containing information on various types of police cases. He clicked on a link for kidnapping cases and began to read. I mean, if Kano is anything to go off of, the answer is Lamayo, they don't. they just don't. Even if the hostage wound up safe in the end, the site informed him the police lost face if the culprit got away. And if the hostage were killed and the kidnapper evaded capture, the media would have a field day. This made apprehending the suspect an absolute necessity. Even if a person's life was on the line, when it came to a kidnapping case, the police prioritized making the arrest rather than keeping the victim safe. I see. Taking his hand off the mouse, Osawa sat back and thought. He wasn't going to be able to relax until he heard Maria's voice again. But if the police prioritized arresting the suspect, why were they just letting things stay in limbo? Didn't they have the crooks under surveillance? Yes, but they're not... It's kind of complicated. He couldn't wrap his head around that. The internet hadn't been able to give him the info he'd hoped for after all. It is 2008 internet, so I don't know what information could truly be online at this time surrounding this specific search. Unable to do anything for Maria, but wait, he turned his thoughts to how his opportunity to transfer to the US had passed him by. The research facilities in America would have been top tier. Some part of him couldn't quite accept what had happened. He stole a quick look back at the door, then surfed the Ayakamiki fan community for people 40 and over. Whenever something was weighing on his mind, posting to these forums seemed to turn his mood back around. He's like posting about like, my daughters are missing. They currently have been kidnapped. Anyway, what's your favorite Ayakamiki song? He knew that now wasn't really the time to be doing this, but he needed to do something to calm and quiet his mind. He started a new forum topic. In the title field, he wrote, Ayakamiki expanding into the US. Ah, I see. With Ayakamiki still at the height of her popularity, does anyone else think it would be exciting if she ventured into the American market? I know I would. She's not the sort of artist who deserves to be confined to Japan. She should be recording at an American studio staffed by the industry's best. I'd love to see her career really take off over there. He wound up getting into a little back and forth with himself. Hopefully, he'd get a response from someone else soon. Hello? Suddenly, a shrill noise startled him so much that he nearly cried out. His heart fluttered like that of a young child who'd been caught in some prank. I'm starting to see this through line in Osawa's story of being like, he presents himself as like a very serious character, but kind of deep down he is kind of childish, I think. Realizing that the sound, or youthful is a better way of putting it. Realizing that the sound was coming from the bug tracker, he pulled it out from his pocket and took a few breaths to steady himself. Evidently, someone had bugged his study as well. Cool. Well, nowhere is safe. Let's just go to the shed. I'm sure Toyama would love to help me with this. Tracker in hand, he walked toward the center of the room. What direction was the signal coming from? He tried heading over toward the direction, the window, blah, blah, blah. Here, maybe. Next, he headed over to his desk. Here, too. The bug tracker was picking up signals from all over the room. Had there been many listening devices planted in here? That many. Mr. Osawa... Oh, Mr. Osawa, it's KAJIWARA. Ah, perfect timing. Osawa hurried to let the detective into the study. The bug tracker's picking up signals. Oh? Yes, from all over the room. What should I do? Mr. Osawa, please calm down. As if that's even possible right now. It feels like there must be 10... No, maybe 100 listening devices in here. KAJIWARA didn't miss a beat. Let me be honest with you. That bug tracker is broken. All right, cool. Well, it's been fun playing through this. Let's go to peak comedy hours with Tama. What are you doing? If it wasn't important, then why did you bring it? Why did you give it to me? What? Osawa was dumbfounded. Broken, but this is the one I got from you, right? Well, yes, but mine isn't detecting anything. Kajiwara produced an identical bug tracker from his pocket. And, as he'd said, it wasn't getting any signal. As I recall, Mr. Osawa, that one was dropped on the floor when I was trying to hand it to you. Oh, okay. Alright, not your fault, not your fault. Not the asshole, I see. Yes, that's right. That must have been when it broke, sir. The strength ebbed from Osawa's body. He didn't have the mental energy to be angry anymore. I wouldn't either, honestly. I'd just go to bed, I think. I would be so tired from this day. Peak comedy hours with Kajiwara more like, true. He didn't have the mental energy to be angry anymore. I just want to go to bed. He gave the tracker a whack with the palm of his hand, and the beeping stopped. Right, he said. What can I do for you? Kajiwara clapped his hands together as if he just remembered something. Ah, right. We have a big problem. The toilet again? Osawa sighed. No, it's not that. It's something worse. Kajiwara's face turned grim. Something worse? Had something happened to Maria? There was no way that it could be important. Osawa didn't need to listen to this clown. Had something happened to Maria? He needed to hear the detective out. What is it? Osawa asked. Go on, tell me. He did his best to remain composed. Well, you see. All right, Tama, what's going on with... Why do you keep doing this to me? He's just a troll. It's like a living troll. It's just like, Lamayo, got him. Well, you see, we ordered lunches for everyone, and it looks like there were still 2 left over, and I wound up eating them. There was an awkward pause. Osawa didn't have the foggiest idea how to respond. My deepest apologies, sir. I ate the lunches intended for you and your wife. Cool. We'll just fucking order pizza. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Kajiwara. Kajiwara bowed profusely. And I really do need to apologize. They were tonkatsu bento boxes, and they were delicious. The meat was so tender, and the batter so crisp. With each and every bite, the rich flavor just filled my mouth more and more. Thanks. Osawa felt a blood vessel burst in his skull. Listen, you. Get your goddamn act together, or... He didn't get to finish that thought. A pathetic little gurgle sounded from his stomach. Ah, see, Kajiwara said. You are hungry. He fussed sheepishly with his hair. At the talk of food, Kajiwara realized abruptly that he hadn't eaten anything since the night before. I'm also getting pretty hungry right now, so that talk of food was just like, ah, man. Shall I make something for you? The detective said. This is all my fault, after all. You can cook? Osawa wasn't sure how thrilled he was with the idea of Kajiwara helping him. Why? Why do you do... Hold on. I would love to, How do I... Previous screen, choose chapter. This is not what I want. I want to go... here. To controls over here. Scroll through. Hide text is R1. Hey, there we go. There we go. I will definitely screen cap this later. I've never had a character unsettle me so much while still being so funny. I love him with a passion. Yeah. I could see him being a fan favorite for sure. Has to be one of my favorite side characters in anything. You mustn't judge people based on outward appearances, Mr. Osawa. All right, fine. Go ahead then. His newfound hunger was making it hard for him to talk. It would certainly behoove him to eat something. He led Kajiwara to the kitchen. Alrighty then. Cool. What's with that getup? Wearing an apron in the kitchen is a must, sir. True. The cartoon character printed on the apron Kajiwara is wearing is one of his own design. What do you mean? He's a designer. He's apparently also like based like the model for some sort of manga character. Is modeled after the MPD's mascot. His name is Pimpo-kun. Amazing. Alas, it isn't while I'm naked. Shut up. Naked. Oh, you aren't familiar with the concept of the naked apron. Do I dare? Do I dare? You know what? Screw it. Tell me. The state of being entirely naked, save for an apron, a form of cosplay. The views from the front, rear, and sides all offer a certain appeal, but caution must be advised, as it may be difficult to stop arguing about which presents which presents the loveliest sight once the topic is raised. There are more similar, more sexualized naked styles as well, such as the naked sock, naked shoe, naked necktie, naked ribbon, naked scarf, naked collar, and so forth. Amazing game. Thank you so much. I will have a wonderful glossary at the end of all of this. We love a man with a hobby. True, we do. I could demonstrate if you like. No, that's quite all right. That's okay. Where'd you get that apron anyway? It's mine, sir. Have you had it with you this whole time? Yes, in here. You just brought an apron to the investigation? What are you doing, my guy? With a smile, Kajiwara pointed to his pocket. Of course, just in his pocket. He also had a rubber duck, a banana, a tracker, an extra tracker. Like, of course. Osawa eased himself into a chair. His hunger was making him feel weak, and Kajiwara was making him feel like he was losing his mind. This is bad, the detective said. I need to whip something up for you fast. Something's definitely wrong if you don't even have a comeback. Osawa felt his anxiety mounting. His pocket has Time Lord tech. It's just freaking Doraemon. Just what sort of food was this insufferable oaf going to make anyway? Probably nothing worth eating was his bet. For now, he'd have to pray that he wound up with something edible. Maybe it was better to ask Tanaka to make him lunch instead. I'd honestly go with this. Since Ai's lunch was gone as well, he should probably ask her to make something. Absolutely not. I will be like, no, fuck off. Let's see. Mary Poppins. I can't imagine this would have any consequence on the story. Surely not. Sure, just make me something. I don't know. For now, he'd just have to pray that he wound up with something edible. Kajiwara peered into the refrigerator. Goodness, you are remarkably understocked, he said. My daughter is kidnapped. Lay off me. Let's see. Could you please put these in the dinger, Mr. Osawa? Named for the sound a microwave oven makes when it is finished heating your food. The microwave at my house doesn't really go ding. When the timer reaches 0, though, it's more of a beep. But when it doesn't have... What's happening right now? It doesn't make sense to call it a microwave a beeper when it's already a word that refers to something else. Who's talking right now? The developer was just like, I just need you to notice, like, mine doesn't really make a dinging sound. The detective handed Osawa some frozen lumps of rice. The dinger? What the heck is a dinger? The microwave oven, sir. Did you not read the note that was there? What are you talking about? Osawa stepped in front of the microwave. This is a very clean kitchen, though, I will say. Nice. That reminds me, I'm pretty sure each route has a dedicated writer. Oh, really? Interesting. That's actually really good to know. I will be cognizant of that going forward, because I want to see like the different writing styles for each of them. Obviously, tonally, like all of these are very, very different. But I want to know if I can really sense like, oh, a different person wrote this. That's kind of cool. Unfortunately, he had no idea how to work the controls. You should thaw that rice out as soon as possible, Kajiwara told him. I'm actually not sure how to operate this thing. You never used a microwave? What? The detective gasped. You don't know how to use a microwave? Osawa could only nod in silent shame. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Who is this man? It should just be as simple as turning the dial. Wait, which one? That one, sir. The one on the right. Osawa turned the dial, then crossed his arms with a satisfied grin. Mr. Osawa, you need to put the rice in first before you do that. Well, then why didn't you say that? Osawa snapped. I've never worked in a kitchen in my life. Don't ask me to do things that are this difficult. You developed a vaccine, my guy. You are trying to save lives, supposedly. Very well. I'll handle this from here. Why don't you get out the bowls and the chopsticks then, sir? I have no idea where the hell those are kept. Kajiwara let out a heavy sigh. All right then. Please just sit and wait, sir, he said. And here, take this. How is this man alive? I assume his wife has just been keeping him alive, and it's just like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Earlier he was saying like, I don't know how to unclog a toilet, and it's just like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. These are basic skills. Kajiwara pulled out a sheet of bubble wrap from his pocket. Use your fingers to pop the bubbles. kind of based, honestly. Honestly, kind of based. That should help you calm down. Too drained to argue, Osawa did as prompted, starting to pop his way along the sheet. It is very soothing to pop bubbles, though. I'm not even gonna lie. Rather than calming down, though, it was making him incredibly cross. This felt more like a sort of ridiculous punishment. I mean, kind of, for not knowing how to cook. Yes, it is. They say you can learn a lot about your household by looking in the fridge, you know. Kajiwara was cooking something in the frying pan, blah blah blah. Bro said go sit in a corner and play while the adults work. I know. And? Osawa asked. Just what have you learned about mine? I'd better not say, sir. You might take offense. Osawa snapped another bubble between his fingers. Ah, the rice has finished thawing. Kajiwara topped the steaming bowl of rice with the fried egg he'd whipped up in the pan. Ooh, nice. Man, I'm getting hungry. We are making some pretty good progress on this one. It's just been straight through. Straight through, you don't need to stop for this one. And I find that kind of interesting, considering he was blocked off for so long. Then, as if it were an afterthought, he added some pickled vegetables. Here you are, sir. Your fried egg on rice is complete. One of Kajiwara's simple recipes. Others include his white spaghetti, which is simply spaghetti that's been flavored with butter, salt, and pepper after it's been boiled. Both are a bit too classic to properly be called cuisine, but it does take a certain skill to bring the best flavor out of the ingredients with such simple seasonings. True. Kajiwara grinned from ear to ear. Go ahead and eat it while it's still warm. Osawa received the bowl with a dubious look. You aren't very good at cooking, are you? He said. Wow, okay. All you had in your refrigerator were eggs and pickled vegetables, sir. I assure you, it's quite delicious. I recommend breaking the yolk and mixing it all together. Reluctantly, Osawa brought a bite to his mouth. Unironically, well, I was gonna say I might drive out after this and get Japanese food because there's a local place, and I was like, maybe I'll just go and get some food before they close. But there's too much snow outside. The weather is so delightful Delightful. So I probably can't do that, actually. That's good. The words came out almost unbidden. Isn't it just? Egg yolk and pickled vegetables pair quite well. Osawa couldn't help but stuff his face, slipping into a rapturous daze as he ate. Amazing. Wait, wait, wait. Cool. I will also get a screenshot of this later. The more he ate, the more it stirred his appetite. I was gonna say good idea, but the snow does put a damper on the whole plan. Yeah. Yeah. I had no idea fried eggs could be this delicious. I know you probably have a long ordeal still ahead of you, sir. But please keep your chin up and hang in there. Kajiwara gave Osawa an amiable smile. That's right, he continued. And for dessert, we have bananas. Stop trying to give me bananas. No, thank you. Kajiwara grimaced as Osawa held up a hand in refusal. Right then. When you're finished eating, would you please wash the bowl? Me? Wash dishes? Yes. Surely you don't need to learn how to do that. Just take the sponge and just wash it. Or put it in the dishwasher. Osawa exclaimed in surprise, sounding like a petulant child. If someone else cooks for you, you should do the cleaning up. True. It's only polite. Fine, okay. While Osawa was doing the dishes, the bug detector went off again. Director, if you have a moment... that was him. Director, if you have a moment... Tanaka poked his head into the kitchen. I've got something urgent to discuss with you. Wait. Keep out. During the last 5 minutes? Also, wait, I think I... No, that was Tanaka. It did say it was Tanaka. Okay. Okay. Just making sure I absolutely understood that scene. Okay, yeah, I definitely did. Interesting. So the tracker went off, but seemingly everything is fine. So, well, no. If 2 trackers went off, then they were definitely bugged. Then that means somebody on the force is acting as a spy, maybe, mayhaps. I have no clue. But we will see probably next time. I love the bromance between these two. Yeah. I will say, the relationship writing between the characters I think is pretty good. I like Osawa and Kajiwara. Kano used to be with Sasayama, but now he's with Jack Stanley. That's his name. Jack Stanley. Achi and Hitomi, of course. And Tama and Boss and Chiri, like this whole duo, the trio even, is pretty great. So I think Minorikawa is supposed to be paired off with a frickin' Chiaki. Chiaki. We saw a little bit of their relationship earlier, and it was cute. It was nice. I would like to see more of it too. But with that, I'm hungry and my voice is dying. And also, it's freezing in this room. I can't stream with the heater on because the heater is just too loud. So I just bundled up in a blanket. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end stream for now. Let me go ahead and see if there's anyone online to raid. Ah, there is somebody online. Saruka is online. They are playing Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Oh, okay, cool. Skyrim. Have a good one. Hope you get something to eat. Thank you. Go get warm. I will. This is Saruka's debut stream, I believe. Like, their first stream ever. So we're gonna go say hi, and I'm gonna go turn on the heater and not freeze. So let me go ahead and switch to ending screen. If you are here, thank you so much for hanging out for a little bit. I really appreciate it. I will be back on Thursday at the same time with some more Metaphor. Refantasio defeating other necromancer thingamabobbits. So, yeah. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye. Bye bye.